But sales should be something that brings people in. And it should be worth it for them to come in. Maybe you got some inventory that's been sitting a long time. These are postcards. They're going to sit. So welcome back to SMPostcards. If you're new to postcards, you've been doing it for a long time, or just looking for something that's easy to list, easy to ship, easy to store, you can put a lot of postcards in a small space. This is the place to be, to take a look and see if this is what you want to do. It's a nice filler for other things. If you sell clothes, you want to do something different, get into history, look at postcards. Take a look through the channel. We've got over 250 videos out there on different things, different types of postcards, different processes. A lot of comments from people that have been doing it their way and stuff like that. So this is a great place to be. Today I have what sold, and I sold 11 cards, a couple multiple orders, and I sold one of those wire tail postcards. We'll talk about that during the what sold. And then the next segment will be the special topic, Old Matt's Cabin. I've heard this name, never really dug into it. So I went out and I found what they mean by Old Matt's Cabin. And then we're going to look and see what they sell for, sell-through rates, a little history, some facts, and who was Old Matt? We'll figure it out. Then I put a poll out there. Do you run markdown sales? That means, do you put a sale on eBay? I got some comments on there, my opinion about that. And then I got some viewer comments always at the end. Talks up from the viewer's point of view, and I give my opinions, kind of ad-libbed. Always want to stick around for that. So it's what sold, special topic, some kind of poll or data, and the viewer comments. So let's get going. So I sold 11 cards. Won't take long to get through. What this part of the video does, it shows you what's selling in a large store. I have over 50,000 postcards listed of all different types. And this is what sells out of my stuff. And you can take a look and see if you've got any, or if you've sold. So it kind of puts it in perspective sometimes with a larger store and a smaller store, and you'll be amazed. Some of the smaller stores might sell the same thing as a larger one in the same quantity. So, but I knew with the types of cards I sell, divided back and down, not the real high price ones and not the real low ones, but the middle average ones, I needed variety and quantity to make it work. People need to come in the store and stay and pick through all the different cards, and that's how it got built up. But the first card I sold, Flounder Dories, and I think Dories means boat. It's a type of boat, is the dory. I think I remember I looked it up. This is the color of the card, but this sold for $4.75. Next one is a real photo postcard of Henry Ford Hospital, and this sold for $7.75. Henry Ford Hospital. Next order was a multiple ship, naval ship type thing. This is the Governor's Island, New York. It's the Coast Guard base. These are cards that the club purchased from a publisher. They didn't print these. These were actually purchased. I have cases of these, and these are Governor. This is a pretty good seller. They go in spurts, but both of these cards together sold for $9.50. Another ship card is the USS Enterprise aircraft carrier. Another publisher card that they purchased these cards. That sold for $4.75. This card, you'd think with these types would sell more. This is the Dress Parade Midshipman U.S. Naval Academy, Annapolis, Maryland. Linen card. These go up and down. You got to do your homework on them. But some of these are, a lot of them out there. This one just sold for $4.75. Didn't see a lot on there, but it's a lot of military men. You can price them up, but if you look on the back, person before me put $3 on it. So that's kind of an indicator. I don't go by those. Those are my prices. But some of those military cards like that just don't make it, and some do. So you got to take a look at each one. Next card is some kind of doctor card. Laughter cures a lot of ills and saves doctor bills. This is a divided back card. It doesn't say when it's posted. But that's what it is right there. $4.75. Wasn't a lot on that one. Another ship card, USS Charleston. Another publisher card, $4.75. This came in right, I pulled this one, it came in right before the video. This was one of those wire tail postcards. See the wire right up there? And it's a rat's tail in her mouth. And this one will go ship in a box because I did one and the person sent it to mail. The post messed it up, I think, the machine. So I had to calculate shipping on these, and they need to pay that. And this sold for $11.45, $11.47. I must have sent an offer. So wire tail postcards, if you see them on there. And this has a little bit of tape on the back, and I did call that out. And the last two is another multiple naval ship order. This is the USS Markeb. That's Markeb, that's nothing to do with me. Two of these are printed. These are matte front, matte back, and they printed these from their database, is what the club did. And I have a bunch of those. Some people like them, some people don't care for the paper. I try to spell it out as much as possible. 1 out of 100 people might say something, and you know, if they're not happy with it, I have free returns. I don't have a problem with it, but a lot of people like them, so I keep selling them. So my goal for this year, and there might have been some overlap in the beginning of the year when I had videos done in 2023 to 2024, but my goals for this year is $80 a day, 16 cards a day, and raise my ASP and be very, very picky on what I buy. And don't buy a lot this year. I don't want to spend a lot of money on inventory. I have enough. I could knock out 3 shelves and still have enough to sell. I only did 11 cards a day, so I'm 5 down. January, February, March is usually some of the slower months for me. I look at the history, it's still pretty steady across the year. January goes up a little bit, then it goes down. So it's kind of still a little roller coaster. I didn't do 80, I did $71.90 in postcards on eBay. So minus $8. My average sale price went up $6.54, so that's good. But I did have some sales in Ko-Fi, and I don't put that into my goal. Ko-Fi is my little side store where I have lots of postcards and different things, sleeves, real good prices. I mean, you can buy a lot of 100 USA postcards for $30 plus shipping. And if you become a member of Ko-Fi at the $3 or $4 level, a monthly membership, you can get those lots for $18 plus shipping. And I always refund shipping if it's over. Ko-Fi doesn't have all the tools and stuff like eBay, so I had to put a flat rate in it. If it's over $2, I usually refund all that back. But if you buy multiples, I do that. But just think, you can get 100 postcards for $30 or $18, and if you sell all those, when they do sell, not guarantee a sale, at $5 each, that's $500 for a $30 investment. Yeah, it takes time to list and stuff, it takes a while to sell, but just think how many postcards you need to sell to pay that. That's what I have in Ko-Fi. It's a place for resellers. Sleeves the same way and stuff like that. So today I got a bunch of stuff going out, sleeves, lots, and stuff like that. Sold $122.15 in Ko-Fi. It's a pretty good day for Ko-Fi. If you add the $71.90 to that I sold in eBay postcards, I had $194.05 day. Now Ko-Fi doesn't go with my average sale price and stuff like that. That's all separate to me. I don't make a lot on Ko-Fi. It pays the bills and lets me buy more inventory and do a few things here and there. But it's just I wanted to put a place where the viewers, the members, can cut some cost and that. Cause I know when I used to go out and buy sleeves and stuff, I'd hunt and hunt and hunt. You know, 3 sleeves are $3.75 a pack if you're not a member in Ko-Fi, but it's $2.25 a pack plus shipping if you're a member. So memberships, it's just a little thing I put together and it works. So check that out. The link was down there and stuff. Enough on that. Now let's get into Old Matt's Cabin. What the heck are you talking about? It's not a well-known card. You've probably run into them, but it probably just thought it was average. But I thought I would throw this out there. And we'll go through the sell-through rate and the pricing. Took me a little while to understand what this was. I had an idea, because I've heard of it, I've seen it on lists. Is it a bolo? Well, I'll let you decide, but let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to talk a little bit about Old Matt's Cabin. Couple paragraphs here, some facts, and while I do that, I'm going to show you some postcards I found of Old Matt's Cabin. And where did that name come from? We'll get into that too. Old Matt's Cabin holds a significant place in the history of the Shepherd of the Hills Farm. Shepherd of the Hills Farm located in Ozark Mountains of Missouri. It's close to Branson. That's what I found out. Constructed in the late 1800s, this log cabin was the home of John and Anna Ross. That's John and Anna Ross. Not Matt, John and Anna, who played a pivotal role in the development of the region. Their story, along with the cabin, became immortalized in Harold Bell Wright's classic novel, The Shepherd of the Hills. And that's where the name Old Matt's Cabin came from. They speculate that it's in the book, is what I read. This literary work catapulted the cabin and the surrounding landscape into a national spotlight, drawing countless visitors seeking to experience the magic of the Ozarks. The cabin itself is a testament to the rugged determination and craftsmanship of the early settlers, built from hand-hewn logs and showcasing the architectural simplicity of the time. Over the years, Old Matt's Cabin evolved from a humble abode to a cultural hub where local guides would gather to share stories and folklore with tourists, preserving the unique heritage of the Ozarks. Today, the cabin stands as a museum, surrounded by the Shepherd of the Hills farm, which has become a beloved destination for the history enthusiasts and nature lovers alike, offering a glimpse into the past and the natural beauty of the region. Old Matt's Cabin and the Shepherd of the Hills farm continue to honor the legacy of the early pioneers and the enduring connection between the people and the land. The historic site serves as a living testament to the resilience and spirit of those who settled in the Ozarks, and a bridge between the past and the present, ensuring that their stories and traditions will endure for generations to come. So that's the cabin. It was built, it was in a book named Old Matt's Cabin in the book and stuff, and then they popularized it. It's a tourist spot, now it's a museum. So it's in the Ozarks near Branson. But I found 3 facts. I wanted to find some facts about this. There's ghostly aberrations. Old Matt's Cabin is rumored to be haunted by the ghost of Old Matt himself. Visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures and hearing strange sounds in and around the cabin, especially at night. Some people that believe that Old Matt's spirit still lingers in the area, watching over the land he loves so dearly. And the other facts. Mysterious carvings. Inside Old Matt's Cabin, there are mysterious carvings etched into the woodwork. These carvings are said to have been made by the real-life inspirations for characters in the Shepherd of the Hills book. Visitors can see these intricate carvings and imagine the stories and history they hold, adding an eerie and historical dimension to the cabin. And the last fact, the buried treasure. Legend has it that Old Matt's Cabin and the surrounding hills hide a buried treasure. In the Shepherd of the Hills book, there are references to hidden gold and silver buried somewhere on the property. Many treasure hunters have combed the area over the years, but no one has ever found the elusive riches. This mystery continues to captivate the imagination and those who visit Old Matt's Cabin, making it an even more intriguing destination for history buffs and treasure seekers alike. So Old Matt's Cabin got some mason jars in the backyard full of money. So that's the history on Old Matt's Cabin, Shepherd of the Hills farm, near Branson, Ozarks. It's all out there. Do they sell? What do these cards do? This chart here is what I keep in my head, and I share it with everybody. And I do have a document out on the Ko-Fi store that I put out every year. I'll do one at the first of every year, and it has this gauge, talks about sell-through rate, and I list like all the states and all the different topics and stuff like that, and I put a sell-through rate in each one. Is it scientific? No. Is it exact to the card? No. That's why I use ranges. This is not price, sales, promoted listings. How many physical cards are moving through eBay in a 90-day snapshot period? Just gives you a guideline, a target to look at. Makes you have a more educational guess on what to buy. The 0.3% is low. That's the QSL cards, Niagara Falls, Cypress Gardens, stuff like that, that there's a lot of them and they just don't move as fast, so they fall in there. So I try to stay away from those, but you will get them in lots. It is okay to list some of them. Gotta have a variety, but don't pay a lot for those types of cards. Then you got your average cards and your high in the green. That's where I work. That's what I look for, is the 4% to 10%. Those are average movers, and they just go. While I do that, I will pick up some low ones, not on purpose, but I also will find the high ones, Halloween cards, real photos. Those will pop in, but I target the 4 to 10%. The average 4 to 7 is where mostly I have the linens and stuff like that. Then you get a little bit more in the high, which should sell a little bit better than average, and then you get into 11 plus, Disney's, mermaids, NASCAR, different things like that sell higher. Those are the ones that you will find. If you just target the high ones, just remember you're going to pay up a little bit more, and it might take a little bit longer to list. You will get some more questions, but you will make more money per card, but that won't come as fast. For the average cards, they turn over pretty quickly. Now, when I'm saying quickly in postcards, it's totally different than shoes, clothing, toys, consumables. These are collectibles. They will sell when people find them. And people with disposable income usually buy these. So if you price it out of the world, it probably won't sell, because there's a lot of them out there. There's 7 to 9 million postcards on eBay at any given time with thousands of sellers. It's a huge market. A lot of people know what they're looking for, the collectors and stuff like that, or they're looking for nostalgia. You never know. If you're just listing what you like or think will sell, you're listing your collection, not the guy down the road. So Old Matt's Cabin, I go out there in eBay and I put postcard, Old Matt's Cabin. Found 12 sold, 325 listed. I did it all different ways, Shepherd Hills Farm, different things, and I kept coming up 320, 325, 350, 340, and taking stuff out, and it all fell around 4%. So that's what the ranges do. Times it by 100 gives you a solid, I round up and down, 4% sell-through rate. So this is at the bottom of the average. It's not low, it's not high. It's just an average card out there. So I wouldn't pay top dollar for that. So if you get a lot of cards in a lot of Missouri and there's a big batch of Old Matt's Cabin, you didn't find the buried treasure. There might be a few real photo postcards or stuff like that out there, but I wouldn't spend a lot of time with these cards if they're at average. Pick through them, do what you do, run it through your system. But I usually just list them pretty quick. So I bumped it up against the thing. You gotta have apples for apples, oranges for oranges. You can't go bouncing this around. You gotta look at them all the same so you get an idea. So all it does is give you an idea. So I went out there and I did Daniel Boone Cabin, postcard Daniel Boone Cabin. 203 sold. So he's more popular than Matt. 2,800 listed. Times 100 is 7%. So Daniel Boone is in the higher end of the average. Then I just put Ozarks, just see what people want with Ozarks. Postcard Ozarks, 578 sold, 9,800 listed. Probably a lot of Branson, because they have that country place out there. Times 100, 6%. So that's still in the average. So all these are average. Then Postcard Old Matt Cabin, 4%. Then I'm in Illinois. Springfield's only about 3 or 4 hours south of me. Not even that. Southwest of me is where Lincoln and New Salem and all that stuff is. So Lincoln's got a cabin, or the one that's in Kentucky. There's that one you've probably seen in the postcards. So I said, okay, there's 30 sold, 897 listed. Times 100 is 3%. So all these cabins and stuff like that, in my head when I see them, just to make it easy, they're average. Average is what I put. So when I see a log cabin, average. Will I jump on them? Probably not. Will I pay a lot for them? No. So in my head, cabins, no. They're not red, but they're not the fastest sellers. I would pick them up if I got them pretty cheap. So they're not my first pick. But Old Matt's Cabin is a topic about that. But let's take a look at the high watermarks that we find with these cards. Now I usually go out there and I find extreme pricing, I call it, the high ones. Guess what? I didn't find any high ones. Since there wasn't a lot sold, only 12 sold, I didn't really have anything to pick through. I went on other sites and stuff. I didn't find anything that was extreme that would make it what they call a bolo or whatever. But I did find some higher ones to give myself and you a higher mark. What's the high mark that these things are selling for? And you're going to see my reason about average here. If I take all this and put it together in my head, cabins, 4% sell-through rate, no real high ones, What's the high water mark? So I found these three. This is the Trail Shepherd Hills Matt's Cabin, $12. Looks like a Chrome card. So that one sold for $12. And then you got a real photo postcard. It's a mill near Matt's Cabin, $7. Not for sure if they're exactly the same place, but I had the word cabin, so I kept it, and I wanted to show a real photo postcard, so that's only $7. That's a cabin, $7. Then you got the postcard, Old Trail, Matt's Cabin, Shepherds of the Hills, Ozarks, Missouri, $7. So if you look at this, you're $7, $8 on the high watermark for a certain card. It's probably that one person bought it. So you're probably $4 to $7 average for the cabin cards. Not bad. I mean, you can still make a little bit of money on them if you sell a lot of them, and you gotta have the variety. But that kind of shows you what Old Matt's Cabin is. So if you come across these cards, just like all my other videos, they all have a special topic in them of a certain type of postcard. I learn just as much as you do when I do these videos. 'Cause I didn't know hardly anything about Matt's Cabin. I just knew they were average. But I never really justified it like I did here. So 4% sell-through rate, no real high ones, average prices, high watermark, average card. Don't pay a lot for them. They might sell, but you want to get them as cheap as possible. Thanks, Old Matt. Who knew? The poll. The poll was kind of interesting, and I have another one that'll come on the video. Do you use coupons? So I won't delve too much into coupons, but sales. The definition is itself, sale. It's a sale. You save money. So I went out there and I put a poll out. I wanted to see who uses these, because I see it all over the place. And I go in and I see a sale, and I'll go back in and it's gone. They do it for one day, they do it here and there. Do you run markdown sales on your postcards? 43% said yes, 54% said no, 3% said other. Me, I run it very strategically. I'll run a sale every 3 months, if that, from a Friday night to a Sunday night or something like that, and let it pick 10,000 things, put a 30% price on there. And why do you say 30%? You're losing your money. 10% sale is nothing. That's sales tax. 20%, give them something to really go in and look at stuff. Once they're in your store and they get some cheap ones, they're going to buy some other ones. Give them a sale is a sale to me. A 10% sale isn't that much. Now, I do send offers out with 10%, but I do that all the time. I'm not going to give the house away just to get a ka-ching. What does that give me? I don't get a lot of sales when I do a sale like that. I get followers. People see it, and I usually pick up 3 or 4 followers. Followers, I get like 10 or 12 a month or something. What am I at? I'm at 925 right now. It just keeps creeping up there. It's not a big, you lose some, you gain some. That's who you can send newsletters to. They get emails from eBay. They come in your store, you get them out of the auction. A big postcard ocean into your little pond looking at your stuff only. That's what you want. So that's all I do it for, basically. In my mind, a couple reasons why. You need cash. You're not getting enough sales to get cash flow. Your cash flow is weak. Cash flow is your liquid part of your business. It's cash you can pay your bills with. You need to recover some of that every month to pay the bills and buy more stuff and whatever. So you'd say you're in a cash flow crunch. So you run a sale real quick just to generate some cash so you can pay some bills. The next thing is to get followers. And the other thing is, I'm not for sure why some people run sales. They're paying people to buy it when they do a sale, so I'm not 100% sure why some sales are there. And you'll see in a couple comments here and stuff, but sales should be something that brings people in, and it should be worth it for them to come in. Maybe you got some inventory that's been sitting a long time. These are postcards. They're going to sit. So I convince me on markdown sales. I don't use them. In the toy world, especially during Christmas and stuff, I didn't put stuff on sale. It's going to sell the way I think. I got 4 comments from people to give a different perspective. My perspective isn't always right. You might have a different way of doing your business and system. I'm just telling you what I do so you can take it and modify it to what you want to do. Or don't change it all. But MC Postcards is, I don't do markdown sales, but I do send offers once in a while. Yeah, I send offers whenever I log in or I go to my computer, my stuff's always up. I always, whatever offers, I send it out. 10%. Just send it out, easy. I don't wait or anything like that. I don't try to speculate. It's when they're signed on is they're going to get it. They get an email. But some people have, eBay has trained them to watch an item like a postcard and wait a couple days for an offer. I know I've done that. When I bought certain postcards, I would go out there and do that. I do it on lunch boxes, the metal lunch boxes I like to collect. I'll go out there and I'll put a watch on it and see if they'll give me an offer on there and get it down. So thanks, MC. The movie dude, yes, I run 30% off around the clock, mark up 30%, and then run sales every day. Now, there's pros and cons to that. I'm not a fan of that myself. Not saying you're doing it wrong. If it's working for you, keep doing it. But eBay at one time stopped that. You couldn't put, I think, if I remember right, a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, they said you couldn't put a sale on an item in the first 30 days. Well, they got a lot of pushback and they turned that off and let people do it. But sales really get promoted when you first start them and when they're ending. They start seeing 2 days left and stuff like that. If you're running it all the time, it's just like the same billboards you see going to work. No one really knows. A friend of mine was doing that, and then they finally turned it off. And everything they had to up 30%, so their prices were always way up, and then their sale. And they were afraid to turn that off, and then they did, and it didn't affect them at all. They're still selling the same amount. So that was a good exercise, and they're a larger store. They sell everything. So if that's what you do, do it, but I'm not a fan of it because I don't want to manage it that way on there. So that's just me. But has anybody else done that as well? Are they successful like Movie Dude? Drop it in the comments. Thanks, Movie. Then Postcard Guy, Kevin, I do not use markdown, but do run 20% off sales occasionally. And I have best offers on every item. So Kevin has a lot of higher end cards and stuff like that. So they're getting into collectors, people really looking there. Those people are probably looking at his cards are spending a lot more time than they're looking at my cards because they make a snap decision. Mine, theirs are, he's probably got a little bit of a different niche. He does have a different niche. He's in the higher end. He's getting really nice cards. He's got a channel and he goes through these boxes he gets every so often. And I think he just did one. And I watch him, and there's just some really neat cards he gets. And he's been doing it for a long time, so he's one that you've got any questions about it, make sure you reach out to him. But he does have best offer. I don't use best offer. One is my cards are already low enough, $4.75 to $6. There's no room to go back and forth for 50 cents or a dollar. I don't bicker back and forth about 50 cents. These guys come through all the time and say, hey, will you sell this card for $2? Will you sell this card for $2? And I just block them or just delete the message. Because they're doing it to everybody. And if they get 10 people to do it out of 50 ones they did, they save $10. I can see why they're doing it. But no, I'm not selling a card I have for $4.75 for $2. There's nothing there for me. I don't care if I get a ka-ching or not. When I make the same amount of money that someone else is doing. They're working harder to get the same amount of money I'm doing. And I can wait on it. I'm in a position where I can wait. I can shut it down today for 6 months and still be fine. So I'm not in a cash flow problem. So Kevin, he uses best offers, which I could see on the higher end cards. And best offers is good, but I'm just not in the flea market world anymore. And I do once in a while. I'm not stupid. If someone sends me saying, hey, will you take this for that or whatever, and I see it and it was done nicely and not spamming me and stuff, I might accept it. So I'm not stupid. I'll still take one here and there, but I usually just delete the message. I look for multiple cards on those. If someone makes an offer to me on best without running best offer, hey, I'll give, someone wanted 22 postcard week postcards. I got 22 of those. Yeah, we want $15. Sure, got rid of those. I'm not stupid. I'll still move the cards like that. I like multiple ones. Thanks, Kevin. Then Julie Flicka says, coupons seem to be the only thing that works for me. And I'll get into coupons in a couple videos, I think, coming up. I forgot which one it's going to be in. but I asked if people use coupons. So I won't speak to coupons as much. But if they work for you, you're probably one of the only ones. I just run them once a week, usually weekends, 2 or 3 days. With markdowns, I might make one sale. Yeah, I want to be able to manage my business and be successful, profitable, and make sales without using all these tools and hacks. If I can do that, then I know what I'm doing is right. It's successful. It's working. But if I have to throw all these sales on and sell similar and do all this stuff just to get sales, what am I doing? I don't have an organic store. Right now I'm successful. It's making what I want, more than what I want. I'm meeting my goals. And I'm not using all this stuff. Just because a bucket has it's a 5-gallon bucket doesn't mean you need to fill it with 5 gallons of water. You can carry 2 gallons of water. Just because eBay has all these tools doesn't mean you have to use them all. Just because the guy down the street's doing a 30% sale doesn't mean you have to. When I was in the telecommunications world, we sold a phone, a desk phone. It has, what, 40, 50 features on it? Salesmen would sit there and sell them Park and double conference, whatever, all this stuff. Automatic logins and forwarding. You know, there's probably only five or six features that people use. They answer, they hold, they forward, they send a do not disturb, mute, stuff like that. They don't know what Park is. I knew what Park was. I would park and go pick it up in the switch room when I was talking to support. We had to get through security to get into the rooms and stuff. So I'd park it at my desk and I'd walk over and I would pick it up. So people are using all these tools. To me, I think it's confusing, the algorithm and stuff, whatever. I don't get into the algorithm stuff and all that stuff. I don't believe in it. One thing is to do all this stuff. I think it's just skews the whole picture. So I like to be organic. Sure, do I miss out on some sales here and there? Yeah. But in the long run, I have sustainable, repeatable processes for long-term growth. That's my opinion. And I might go against a lot of other people that you hear out there. But thanks, Julie, and everybody for their comments. It helps me put it in perspective. Sometimes, and I'll change if I see, convince me, I can change. But right now, I'm successful and I'm happy with it. But that's the poll. Look for them every Saturday. Make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell icon there. I think there's a thing in the corner over here. You can just click that, hit 1, or click on it and say yes, and it'll subscribe. How easy it is. It's the best free thing you can do for the channel. And you'll see all the polls, the community. I use the community tab heavily to communicate with the viewers of what's going on and different things. I got things going on all the time, quizzes and different things. A lot of them are scheduled that I think of it, but they're out there. So make sure you get subscribed and it'll work. Viewer comments. At the end of every video, I pick out some comments from email, YouTube, different places. eBay, if you put it in YouTube, I basically say it's public because it has your name on it and everybody can see it. But if you send me an email or put it in eBay, I'll ask sometimes if I can use it in a video. But it's more private. So it's contact@SMPostcards.com, and I think I've gotten back to everybody. If I haven't, send me again. Let me know I forgot. But I don't have any rules and stuff in there. It should come right to me. One time the other night with Dan, I saw something pop in, and then I went to look for it. It wasn't there. So I don't know what happened to it. So I asked him. I remember seeing it, and he sent it back to me. 4 comments here. The first one was from Puddin's Postcards. Reminds me of Batman and Harley Quinn, where he calls Joker Puddins. My Puddins. I just thought of your cost-cutting video. I went over my credit card statements and dropped $55 in personal monthly subscription I wasn't using. Subscriptions are killers. I just stopped one the other day. I'm not using it right now. I used it at the end, last quarter last year, and I had it written down in February to turn it off. So it was $10 a month, but I just wanted to do it for a little bit because we were doing something and I wanted that subscription. But monthly subscriptions can be killers. If you're using a $10 subscription, that's $120 a year. And if you have 2 of those, it's $240. If you have 10 of those, it's $1,200. You can save money by looking at your cost every month, your expenses. List them out on a spreadsheet, write them down, what you spend every month. There's some things you pay every month for. eBay, whatever subscriptions you got in there. I have some stuff for YouTube that I pay every month. I have a backup stuff that I spend. So I list all my ones I pay every month. And then that's not all your inventory you buy, your sleeves and stuff. And just put them out there for every month. And then you can look at when are those paid for every month. My expenses are paid usually by the second or third day of every month. You can say in profit. That's before I buy sleeves or anything like that. But all my monthly expenses are usually paid by the second or third every month. I've gotten it down to a ridiculously low level. And that's what Puddins did. Is just went through and looked at it. So you want to look at it every once in a while. I look at it all the time. I'm not worried about saving 25 cents when I can save $25. I'm not going to go after the nickel and dime things. I'm not that cheap. I don't reuse napkins and paper towels and squish ketchup packets into a bottle. That's not how I live. I want to be able to do what I want. If I want to go out and buy this, I can do that and stuff. But Puddins, I'm glad you brought that up, Puddins, because it's not just at the end of the year. Look at it all the time. Every month, look at your statement at the end of the month. I look at it at the end of the month, quarter, 6 month, and year. By 6 month mark, if you're not reaching your goals, it's harder to play catch up. So catch it at 3 months and 6 months, and then you should be okay and make some changes or just coast. You still got to change up things every once in a while, but look at it all the time. Thanks, Puddins. Now, Sergeant Rock 754. Hi there. Recently found your channel. I think it's a great view. I have just purchased a lot of 400 photos of UK steam trains. Are they photos or postcards? It came off Facebook Marketplace and when someone's father's collection. That's what we're finding out there. A lot of things are coming out on the market from family collections. People are passing away or moving into nursing homes or moving in with their kids and stuff, and they don't want the stuff anymore. I've gotten a few calls this last month about that. The cards, they wanted too much for them. One I did pick up, but it's a very small lot. But that's what we're getting. We're losing a lot of knowledge out there with the older people doing that. But we're getting some of these cards that haven't been out in the public. And you're not going to find them on eBay as much as you're going to find them from networking with people. So those are the collections that are usually good and they're well kept. It only cost me $100, squids, or whatever they call them, Australian money, approximately 68 US. So that's about 17 cents a card. That's really good. So if you're under a quarter a card, you're going to make money. I get up in the 50 cents a dollar sometimes, but most of the time, last year I was under a nickel for all the cards I bought for the whole year. So yeah, I paid up at the auction and stuff, but for an average, I was a nickel or under. But some years I've been up in the 25, 30 cents a card because I wanted them. But 17 cents a card is a good price. There's money to be made there, especially in an older family collection like that. So pretty happy with the score. And he's in Western Australia. I think they're in summertime right now. We're in winter. When I'm recording this right now, let me see the temperature. In Chicago area, it's 16 degrees. It was 0 degrees this morning when I recorded this. So thanks, Sergeant Rock, and pass it on to your Australian friends out there, the channel and stuff like that. So thanks again. Harry Monger, there is money in banks. These are bank postcards. I did a video about bank postcards. That was a fun thumbnail to do. I was learning my new tool I bought last year. Instead of a thumbnail maker I paid every month for, I bought one software package, and that was one of the first ones I played with. There's money in banks. Not unless you ask for a withdrawal of a large fund, which seems to get them all in a tether. Yeah, walk in there and tell them I want $20,000 out. That's, well, I don't know. Another excellent video, Mark. Regards from Spain. So we had Australia and we had Spain. So welcome. I can see it on one of my little charts. Turkey, Spain, Canada, Norway, Iceland, Mexico, Australia, Germany. I don't think Germany is much. France. I can see all these different places that I've watched the channel and stuff, and it comes and goes. But I like the international. I worked over in Europe for a while, putting a phone system in Germany, France, Denmark, England, I didn't go in to check. Yeah, I did. And then something. The other guy ran down the east side. I did the west side of Deutsche Telekom and Mobile Messfunk, training their techniques and stuff. I couldn't do the work. I was more an advisor, and we'd travel around to different towns in Germany. So it was a culture shock on a few things, but I enjoyed it. Thanks, Harry. I know. Now this one came in. I know you from YouTube. I think this came through an email. I know you from YouTube. I was wondering if you ever get postage due with your rigid mailers for postcards. These rigid photo mailers, 6.5 by 4.5, the best envelope, self-seal. I have. If you want to try them, I have them in the Ko-Fi store. You can get 10 to try them, or you can go on Amazon and do the same thing. But use these forever. Don't need to reinvent the wheel. Don't think you're going to have a different. People have been selling postcards forever. These are the best ones we found. They don't have to bend them to put them in slots. They're a little water resistant, not waterproof, and you can put 3 or 4 cards in here for an ounce. So I just have a big stack here on there. And I have those in the Ko-Fi store. I got 50 pack, 100 packs, 10 packs, and stuff like that. If you want to support the channel and stuff and just get a small amount. Or if you want a different amount, just let me know. Send me a message. I can work up a price. Do I get postage due back? I had some customers get that. And I have always had some mailed back to me. It's not often, but I'm not sure why the post office does this sometimes. I was wondering if you had that problem. Do you think because they are semi-rigid? Maybe some of the other postcard sellers can jump in more than I can. I will get one returned. And most of the time it's because of the address. When the eBay standard envelope first started, I didn't have the problem, but I heard a lot of people, the post office didn't recognize eBay standard envelope. They didn't know what it is, and they would send it back or whatever. Or say non-machinable and stuff. Back in a couple of years ago when eBay standard envelope came out, I heard a lot of that. Another person, people told me it's the smaller post offices, the small towns and stuff get more picky because they don't have as much mail going through as New York or Chicago. They don't look at each envelope like that. But the other postcard carriers and stuff. So I haven't had that problem. I do get them back for the address or if I screwed something up. But I haven't had that yet. Do you think it's because it's semi-rigid? No. If you want to see something rigid, get one of these email brown ones. Try one of these. These are a lot. I mean, they don't even hardly bend, where this one you can just bend. These are fine, absolutely fine. I actually sent an AirTag here. This is one of those Apple AirTags. I put it in the mail. I'm trying a little test here, and I'm not for sure if it's going to work. But I put that in there, and I sent it in the mail to myself in one of those envelopes. It made it there and back. And that's a nice, piece of hard metal in the envelope. Yeah, it would have cost me if I didn't get it back, but I wouldn't know where it's at. But it made it. So I don't think they're not too rigid at all. I mean, some of these eBay ones, and they recommend these for eBay standard. I don't think they sell this size anymore, but the little big one, they recommend those. They're made for eBay standard envelope. So I'm not for sure. If anybody else can comment on his question, that's why I put it here, having major issues or any issues with stuff returned because of the envelope and stuff, let me know. I would really enjoy to find out more. I don't have it normally, so I can't really speak on it. But that's all I got for today. Old Matt's Cabin. If anybody sold a real good one of those, send it in. I had that show and tell feature that I can share it on there. I'd love to see some cards out there. I just couldn't find any really big money ones for Old Matt's Cabin. But it's a neat story. You might want to go out there and listen. And if you're in the Ozarks, go see it. Running sales. I'm still not convinced that's the way to go. I want an organic store with sustainable, repeatable processes for long-term growth. And doing all these things, I just don't think makes sense to me. I want to have a steady road. I don't want to take all these turn-offs and pull-offs and stuff come on. But thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Here's some more fish for you. Bye.